All right. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be, and welcome back for another episode of Student Affairs Shares, the Office of Family Engagement's webinar to keep our parents informed of all things KU. My name is Nikki Haney, and I serve as the Director of the Office of Family Engagement, and I am super excited for our guests this evening. I have the co-chairs from our Family Association Board, and I'm going to turn it over to them to allow them to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Nikki Beard, and I am the co-chair for membership. And I have a son that attends KU, and he is a junior.
Hi, I'm Sue Glatter Kamman. I'm the chair of the Digital Outreach Committee. I am a 1989 graduate of KU Law School, and I'm the proud mom of Beth, who is a junior in journalism and mass communications at KU.
Hi there, I'm Tracy Alferman, and I am in charge of the program engagement. I also have a daughter who's a junior at KU, and she is in the architecture program.
And then lastly, our co-chair for our KU Family Connection, Angie Leatherwood, could not join us this evening, but definitely sends all of her rock chalk well wishes to everyone. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Sue, could you share a little bit about the Family Association's mission and purpose?
Absolutely, Nikita. To back up, the Office of Family Engagement is a new iteration. The KU administration has given us Nikita Haney as a director and Sarah, our grad student. They really want to put the focus on families and parents, not just on the student, because we're all part of the flock. And to that end, we have the KU Family Association, and it's a committed network of parents and supporters. And what we do is work to foster meaningful connections that enhance the Jayhawk experience. We do it through engagement, guidance, and community building. And by doing that, we empower those closest to our students to navigate KU and support their success on campus and beyond. All families, and by family, it's however your Jayhawk defines it. It could be your godmother, it could be an aunt, it could be a parent, or just a close family friend. But all families of current and graduated Jayhawks are eligible for membership in the Family Association. And the members are encouraged to attend council meetings and events. And we'd like to see you do a minimum of two, but you can do as many as you want.
Thank you so much, Sue. And then, Nikki, can you share with our parents and families how they're able to get involved with the association?
Absolutely. So there is multiple ways to get involved. One of the things that I would like to talk about is the membership. All families of current and graduate Jayhawks are eligible for membership in the Family Association. Members are encouraged to attend council meetings, events, and try to do at least a minimum of two. And the reason we say that is we really want your engagement. We really want to hear from you. We really want to make sure that we're asking parents kind of what they're wanting to do, how they want to move, what are some of the things they would like to see. So really wanting your engagement there. So we do try to do the minimum of two. You can get involved by joining a committee. So there are 4 association subcommittees. The first, and they align with specific areas of interest led by board members and co-chairs. And like you've met all of us today. You have volunteer opportunities where you can volunteer in different initiatives and create positive change and impact on KU's campus and the greater Lawrence community. And there may be things we haven't even thought about that you may say, hey, what about this or what about that? So we really are open to ideas. It's not like we got all the answers. So that's why we have this committee, and we really would like for anyone who would like to join, please join. And then we have ambassadors. They serve as representatives for association by welcoming new families. And if you were like me, that really is important for people to say, hey, come in, join us. These are things you can do to get involved, things like that. Sharing resources, supporting building a strong sense of community. And so when your child is going off to college, sometimes it's just as hard for the parent as it is the child and or young adult. So what we want to do is make sure as a parent you have that support and you have your community to help you navigate through some of those things as well.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to get into our Q&A. And so first, Sue, could you share what's one way that you have supported your student as they've been a Jayhawk that you feel has made a significant difference?
Absolutely, Nikita. I really feel like your journey's going to start at orientation. And so I went to orientation, I went to all the tables, and I just started grabbing all the materials I could, and I stuck it in my briefcase. Then what happened is when she started off at school, she's the youngest, second kid who's gone to college, but she of course didn't need me until things started to get stressful or she felt lonely or she didn't know what to do. And then I dug back into my little goodie bags from orientation. And so she's trying to figure out, how do I go to Watkins because I think I feel sick. I had that information. When a friend was struggling and needed therapy, I pulled out my information about CAPS. When she wasn't sure what to do in a class, I could direct her back to the Student Access Center for support for a learning difference. All of that information was available, and you have to be ready. Like the first semester, they know everything, they can do everything, and they don't need you, particularly if they're going away. We're in Illinois, so she just was living her life. But by second semester, she started to talk to mom and needed mom. And so all of those things I either had from orientation through Student Affairs Shares, the Family Connection newsletter, or if you're not sure, Nikita is just a phone call away. She really does answer the phone. And if it's not her bailiwick, she can tell you who you go to. And I think that helped support my daughter even to this day. Now we're working on career stuff and resumes. Nikita's like, I got a person for you in the career center. So to anybody on the board anybody in the Office of Family Engagement, it's a great starting point.
Thank you so much for that, Sue, which is a great segue into my question for Tracy. So, Tracy, what advice would you give to parents and families about staying connected with their student on their Jayhawk journey? Because as Sue mentioned, they get here, they're like, I don't need you anymore. So what advice would you give parents? I think you're on mute.
Obviously, it's really important to stay in contact with your student. Um, Freshman year, I felt that it was more so because she had a lot of questions about navigation and things to do, whereas now she's a junior, she's becoming more independent, but I'll still pop in a hi, how are you, or a I love you. And we try to have her take care of most of her stuff. There's absolutely so many resources and always an abundance of help with any questions or problems she had. Student Affairs and the Office of Family Engagement are always a good place for them to start.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And so, in that same vein of support, Nikki, what are ways or insight would you give parents on best academically supporting their student without overstepping? Because we know that transition from high school to college is a little different as it pertains to parents and families having access to some of that information.
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, I agree with, Tracy. I think, in some of this, it's guiding without them knowing you're guiding, right? Allowing them. I just read a book, Let Them, right? In some of these situations, we really do have to let them be adults as they're navigating. However, always letting them know that we are there. right? We are there as a support. And I think you do it in a way where you're allowing them to be accountable, but you're there as a support. And sometimes they don't even know you're giving them the blueprint, right? Asking them, what's on your plate? Let's talk about it. What are you dealing with this week? How are you navigating? And you're going to get, especially the freshman year, because they are transitioning from high school to college, you're going to get like, wow, that was a hard test, or this or that, whatever it may be, and really kind of coming down on themselves about it and really nervous about this college test and not understanding that it's okay. Like, that's the first one of many, and end up getting an A on it 9 times out of 10, but just really overthinking it and not quite sure what to do and what not to do. So I think really stepping into it with the mindset of, tell me, help me understand how you're navigating things. Are there things that are getting a little hard? And if they say yeah, or they say no, try to move back to the positive. What went well this week? Tell me what you did this week. How did you navigate, the Friday? Where did you go? All these things. So more bringing them into the conversations and trying to help them truly understand that there will be some barriers as they navigate college in the next 4 years, but there's nothing that they really can do that they can't get through, right? Their professors are amazing at KU. If you want to do office hours to get more time, my son has done that number of times, and they have been so accommodating and helpful and saying, come in anytime during my office hours. Or to Sue's point, if you need to go get a little bit of extra help, there are teacher assistants and all the things. So really reminding them of the things that are available to them and just allowing them to kind of move through it on their own way and in their own pace, and just being there as a support.
Yes, assisting them in feeling confident in their independence is really key on this journey. And so, with that, Tracy, what are some ways that parents and families can support their students' independence? And are there any resources or programs that you felt like helped your Jayhawk as they were navigating some of that independence?
Well, definitely, it's hard to be a mom and hard not to be like, oh, let me take care of that, or oh, I'll do that for you. We had some instances where we had some questions about like our billing statements and loans and stuff. And I would always make her, you're going to send the email, you have to ask the questions, but here's a little guidance. Maybe you should suggest this, or, this is what we're looking for. And she always kind of was able to navigate her way and find, how to figure things out on her own. Because it is so much easier just to go back and be like, hey, mom, can you do this for me? But no, you need to learn how to do some of these things, yourself. Um, uh, Obviously, yes, like we talked about, there are so many resources available at KU for basically any situation that would arise. I have found that you, Nikita, and the Office of Family Engagement, you're always there. Should she not know exactly who to contact about a problem, you can at least guide her in the correct direction, and, we'll have her reach out on her own. So thank you for all your help with everything all the time.
And you all are so welcome. I enjoy connecting with your Jayhawks, enjoy connecting with you all as well. And so, yes, KU has, we don't even know how many resources to the students. So definitely make sure you encourage your students to utilize those resources if they are coming or if they're already here at KU. And so, Sue, we know that your wonderful daughter is very involved on campus. And so, how can parents support their students in getting involved on campus without pushing? So, when we think about some of those students who, they might have more of an introverted personality, because we know some of our extroverts, they don't need that extra help in getting involved. But how can parents support that campus involvement without being, a helicopter parent or being overbearing about it?
That's a great question. And my daughter now, when I come to campus, the shy girl knows everybody. But when it started, the first thing we did is worked on networking through the dorm, and she lived in Ellsworth, which is not your fanciest dorm. I don't think it's been updated recently, but it has this interesting vibe where they are so close. And so encourage your kid to get in a group chat, whether it's on Instagram or Snapchat, because when she got there and I left, all of a sudden she had all these friends. I mean, there were people while we're unpacking her room and they're coming in and they're screaming and, oh my God, I finally get to meet you. So that's a great start. Second thing is finding something they could be connected to or involved in from the start. So for my daughter, she struggles with social anxiety. You know, she needs to know she has a group. So for her, it was a good fit to go through sorority recruitment. And once she survived the hubbub, she had a group of people, and then she found activities within that. It took her a bit to get to the point where she wanted to do things in the journalism school. And you're going to have to keep your eye on your kid's major and think, what's their resume going to look like, particularly with AI? What are their activities? So she overspent and she went, I said, well, look in the network. I keep hearing there's student jobs. And so lo and behold, she's works for the marketing team at the Ambler Rec Center. And so now she has a real job in her field and she's had 2 raises and a promotion, and that goes on the resume. She decided, I said, find something in the J school to get involved in. She made the agency, which is the in-school advertising agency, and now she's on the competition team. And for the first time since 1989, KU won the or the district competition. And she's so proud of those things. Sometimes it might be that your kid's in D&D. And so they just have to find their D&D people. Sometimes it's through the campus job or putting together a group for line sitting for the basketball games. Where you do want to draw the line and push a little bit or intervene is if they're struggling and it may hit first semester right around finals. You know, check in on the anxiety. Are they going to classes? Super calm, super supportive. But they have, you can get immediate support through CAPS if people are really stressed out. And then just watching life on their own, particularly when they discover that they can have a drink and mom's not there to realize it or something like that. So those are the things you want to step in and ask how it's going. But anything, talk, I think what Nikki said is really important. Just talking to them and not judging. Have you met anybody in your class? Who do you eat with? Do you have a group? And you'll find that people hang out in suites, and they start to connect in these different ways. If your kid's not meeting people, you're not hearing about it, then you may need to dig into your briefcase or bag from all the stuff you got during orientation or give Nikita a call. Maybe they just need a group like GEMS, which Nikita is an advisor for. And what's it stand for, Nikita?
Gifted, Empowered, Motivated Sisters.
So it's a mentoring group for women and helps them connect with each other and do activities and grow. So they can tell if you say my kids did these kind of things, there's always been an interested in this, somebody will help you out and give you some suggestions.
Thank you so much. And yes, KU, in addition to the resources, when we talk about campus involvement, student organizations, we have a lot of them. And so the Student Engagement Center is definitely going to be the place to be. If your Jayhawk is on the way here and they're already here, send them over to the Student Engagement Center to find some really cool leadership opportunities and involvement opportunities. And then, of course, there are other spaces on campus, but definitely wanted to highlight that space. And so you all have talked a lot about these different topics and conversations that you've had with your Jayhawks. And so, Nikki, can you share what types of conversations have strengthened that parent-student relationship for you and your Jayhawk, to give our other parents and families a little bit of insight of what are some of the conversations that they can be having with their students as they matriculate through KU?
Yeah, I think really it's just creating that safe space, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, they act as if they're so happy that you're gone and you just dropped them off and they're like bye, but believe me, they have just as much like as you have leaving them. And so I think having that open dialogue, one, and I tried to talk about that in the last one. The last, just ask, what did you do last week? What are you doing this weekend? What's going on? Creating that safe space, judge-free space for them to be honest, open, and try to, you know, be there. And like Sue said, try to hear, are they involved in things? Do they have friends? Are they socializing? Or are they having dinner by themselves? Are they going straight to their room and just sitting in their room and there's no interaction with other people? Is there, you have to have those check-ins initially in the beginning just to say, hey, what day do you want to talk each week? What day, or how long? Let it be their decision. Make it feel like it's them making the call here, but you're also getting something out of that. And so when you have those conversations, I think just trying to really focus on positive, and trying to listen. You know your child better than anyone else. So at the end of the day, if there's something going on, but we are also here as a support. Nikita is here as a support. We've tried to give resources today, but those are not that they have an endless list of activities, departments. I was listening to something the other day and I'm like, oh my, I didn't even realize you did that, right? I mean, so much that kids can get involved in. So if you're like, well, my kid's not into sports, that's okay. There's tons of things for them to do. So my thing would have those conversations that are open, honest, and judge free. Allow them to see how much can they trust the conversation they have with you as their parent. And if you see something and you feel like I'm a little worried, say something. Call up KU, call Nikita. If you don't feel comfortable calling anybody else, you can feel comfortable calling her and saying, this is where I'm at. Can you tell me, what would you advise I do in this situation? Or, you know what, my daughter or my son is kicking it a lot. Is that normal as a freshman? I mean, both and everything in between, right? And so just know that it's okay. It's okay, and they will be okay. But that's my first thing, is open, honest, judge-free conversations with them.
Yes, and we know that studies have shown, research has shown that when students feel supported by their families or whoever that support system is in the background, it shows an increase in a good college experience, but also they are doing well academically, all of those good things. So yes, just having those open and transparent conversations. It can be a little rough, not only for the student, but for you all as well. But it'll get easier. And all of you have juniors now, so I'm sure the conversations have shifted from freshman year to junior year. And so now we're going to shift some of the questions towards you all. And I would love for Tracy to kick us off, because I know that Tracy and her beautiful daughter, they have such a good relationship, and it's been so great to witness how much fun that they have together. And so, Tracy, if you could kick us off in sharing, what is one thing that you enjoy about being a Jayhawk parent?
Oh my gosh, I love everything about Lawrence. It's such a fun town. I do feel really good that I feel that my Jayhawk is well taken care of up there. She's had, a great network of friends, good relationships with her professors, abundance of resources and help. Um, KU is also just such a fun school. It's a fun place to visit. I am probably up there a little bit way more than I need to be, but there is always an invite. I'm not heading up on my own, I should say. So, but I really enjoy the campus. I enjoy the people. I enjoy the town. And it's just been such a great experience. I don't want it to end.
You have one more year, so make sure you're doing all of the things.
Actually,
Well,
I'm lucky enough. I do have 2 more
2 more years,
years. So
right?
yeah,
She's gonna graduate and then go get that master's degree. So we love that.
yeah,
And be out here building these beautiful buildings for all of us as well. So I'm excited
yeah.
about that. Um, Nikki, what's one thing that you enjoy about being a Jayhawk parent?
Ooh, I'm like Tracy. It's so many things. My son, he was going to be a Jayhawk at the age of 5. Okay, so I mean, he was writing stories about being in Allen Fieldhouse at the age of 5 and watching a basketball game and all the things. So I knew early on that KU was going to be the place that we would end up with him. But I will tell you the one thing would be seeing him happy every time I come and visit. I mean, literally, like, and just seeing how he has made so many friends and his reputation precedes him on the campus. People are so happy when they see him and they're like, oh, is that your parent? And is that your mom? And just, it's like family when I go down and I see him interacting with other people on campus and he's like, oh, come over. So really it's to see your child so happy and seeing that he's doing being such a great, you feel like you've done a great job raising them and that they're where they want to be and they're thriving and doing well in school. He's a finance major. And so he spends a lot of time in Capital Fed but all the friends that he makes even just in his major that maybe he never would have made, but those individuals, they're studying together or hey, we got this coming up, let's make sure that we meet in the library. So it's just really good. At the end of the day, I love Lawrence, I love KU, I love all the things, but it's about my baby being happy and seeing
Mhm.
that smile when I pull up to visit him and him ready to just kind of take me around campus and meet the people that he knows and everyone saying, wow, he's a great young man. So that's what.
Yeah. And I know your son, your student, and his reputation definitely precedes him. And so here to just let you know that you did a phenomenal job raising him, as well as Tracy did a phenomenal job raising her Jayhawk as well. And so, Sue, what is one thing that you enjoy about being a Jayhawk parent?
You know, I think I even like being a Jayhawk parent more than I did being a Jayhawk. This has been a fantastic experience, and it's really brought me back into the fold. Um, the thing that's different, I think, about KU and the state of Kansas, the people are just really warm and genuine. I mean, there's a Facebook group, Live Love Lawrence, and people post in there all the time. I lost my car key, it was by the street, and people will find it, or they'll have a package that gets misdelivered. In Chicago, that would probably not be found. And in Lawrence, people will drive it over to your house. And the university is the same way. I really encourage people to come visit and to keep an open mind and revisit your youth and have fun. I loved the feeling when the doorbell would ring, trick or treat, hi Beth's mom. And I really felt like with my nest emptying, I didn't have a purpose. But I go to Lawrence and it's Mama Sue, it's Mama Sue. And I love her friends. I love the kids. I love meeting the I that's another thing you're going to be surprised by. You're really going to meet people in your kids' department, their degree program, but you're going to meet administrators across campus. And that makes me feel really good. She can feel like she's an adult and she's independent, but I know I got some eyes on her a little bit, and so if something's going awry or um, I, I've got good people who can guide me and or guide her. Um, and there's nothing better than screaming Rock Chalk Jayhawk in Ellen Fieldhouse or the booth. I think you're really going to love that part of KU.
Yes. And so to wrap us up with our last question, and Tracy can kick us off. Uh, why should parents or supporters of our Jayhawks get involved with the Family Association?
I love being a part of this family association. I've met some wonderful new parents and moms and friends and um, Nikita, it's been just plethora of good information. I had an older daughter that went to university in a big city, and um, their parent board wasn't like this parent board. I feel that you have a passion for it, and we've learned so much. I feel that I find out things about school that I wouldn't maybe pay attention to with an email, by following the Instagram pages. And I'll even share that with my daughter, like, oh, they're going to have puppies on site. Are you going to go visit them? But and I've connected with St. Louis families that are part of here that I would have never really probably connected with. So it's been fun to be a part of this association, and I love it.
Nikki, what about you?
Oh, I would say the same. The reason that I think people should join this family association is Nikita, Tracy, Sue, and Angie. Right, for me, I feel like I've got lifetime friends now. Right, like that I wouldn't have known, wouldn't have met without this association. So that's one for me. And then also, to Tracy's point, like, I mean, there's so much going on campus. I was telling my son, I'm like, hey, he's a business major. To Sue's point, resume time's coming up, all the things. They're doing headshots. You need to meet here at this time. And I will tell you, kudos to everybody on this call, but Sue is going to make sure everybody on this call knows what's going on campus. She is personally going to make sure. If you don't know, it's just because you didn't go. But she is going to make sure we all know. She's going to tag me on Facebook. She's going to make sure that she sends it in an email. And I appreciate that, because sometimes you just get busy and you got somebody looking out for you who you didn't even realize was looking out for you. Kind of like I said earlier, your young adult doesn't know that you're giving them the blueprint. Let them think it's their idea, right? They don't have to know that it's coming from you because of the way that you're doing it. So I think this group has been such an amazing group. And as we're at navigating, pulling up, standing up our different subcommittees and things like that, find what energizes you. Find what fills your cup. Join that committee, right? And if it's something that we're not doing and we don't have a committee for parents that live 500 miles away, let's do it. We are that type of group that will say nothing beats a fail but a try. So we will not say no. We will just say let's try it. And if it doesn't take off, that's okay. So that's what I really love about this committee.
Oh, Sue, last but not least, why should parents join the family association?
Well, before I forget, let me give my family association pro tip. If you're not hearing from your kid and you have a pet, FaceTime them. You put the camera on, like for us, it's Donut the Wonder Beagle. I can usually get, on a bad day, I can get a good 10 or 15 minutes if she can see her dog and I can see her. So if you're not hearing from your kid, that's the family association tip. Um, the family association is very different than freshman year. I tried to get involved freshman year, but this iteration is limitless. When we reconstituted and we started talking about ideas, all of us said, Nikita, family weekend is not the same as other schools. It really is more like if you're in a fraternity or sorority. And Nikita said, let's do it. And so, my goodness, all the ideas turned into what, 2,000 people participating in family association events we'd never had before. And that came from conversations with parents expressing ideas. So you want to get involved because it's like having a direct phone line to the powers that be. And you don't have to plan it or organize it. You can just give an idea. The second reason is, and I have to echo Nikki and Tracy, like I love our board members. I love our staff and I love my digital outreach subcommittee. I have made so many friends. For example, we're working on geographical Facebook groups. So we have a Chicago metropolitan area. I mean, you could be in, just south of Milwaukee, or you could be, south of, you could be in Indiana, not far from Chicago, and you can be in the group. And so we started these Facebook groups. So somebody will be like, I forgot a suit. My kid pledged a fraternity and they're serenading a sorority. Anybody driving? Or my kid's ride canceled. Can anybody help me get her home for Thanksgiving? So we have all these different ways that people can connect, and it's a feeling that you're not alone and that there's no stupid question. And you can get coached and get support through the family association. And sometimes it's talking you off the ledge as a parent. Sometimes it's getting ideas on how to approach your kid. Um, but you can do it in a safe space with the families. Um, and the last thing is truly the Jayhawk Nation. It's not, you have to look at it not that your nest emptied, but that your baby bird got a bigger nest. And there's a whole flock in that nest, and we're all part of it. You don't have to go to KU. You don't have to have $1 million, although it would be nice if you donated. But it's just the experience. If you want to be a part, you're a part, and the family association is the way to do it.
Well, thank you all so much for being my guests today. And Jayhawk parents, families, and supporters, you heard them. It's time to get involved with the Family Association. And one way you will be able to do that is by attending our end of year meeting happening Wednesday, May 6th from 6:30 to 7:30 virtually. So you'll get to come. We're going to recap the year, and then we're going to give you the opportunity to decide if you want to join the committee or however you want to show up on the Family Association. And to my Family Association co-chairs, thank you all for a wonderful academic year. This experience building the Office of Family Engagement wouldn't have been the same without you all. And I just thank you for your time this evening. And rock chalk.
Rock chalk.
Rock chalk, and let's go back, cats. We're winning. We're gonna go to Omaha.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you.